Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and it's time to review Star Wars Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 7, Dreams and Madness. Don't know why it's called that. I don't know. Honestly, don't know why it's called that. A baffling title. Not the best episode ever. Quite action-packed, I suppose you could say, but it's also kind of boring, to be honest. I can't really explain it. The season started off well for me. I was giving it 8s and stuff like that one time, but as it's gone on, it's declined in quality for some reason, and it just seems to be dragging out a lot. It's become dull and plodding, even though there's these action sequences, which in themselves are quite dull and plodding, to be completely honest, and quite baffling. I think Sabine's got a Beskar head, but anyway. Right, so let's just get on with it, shall we? We'll get into the episode. Another decent length episode, by the way, for about 43 minutes, excluding recap and credits. I was hoping that we're going to be, with it being the penultimate episode of the season, I was hoping there might have been a after credits scene. But I don't think there was, because when I was watching it on Disney Plus, it went down into the corner of the screen with the credits, and that's usually a sign that there's nothing more to come. I never checked actually, but I'm presuming there isn't. Right, so let's get it up. Here we go. So we start off. I've skipped the recap. Remember, Ahsoka's on her way to this other galaxy where everything just happened to be on the first planet they came to, which they do kind of address in this episode. Sabine was sent out to find Ezra, and she found him in about 5 minutes. I presume there's supposed to be a passage of time, and she'd gone quite away, but you didn't get that impression. She went, she set off, she got attacked by nomads, fought them off, travelled a bit more, encountered the crab people, whatever they are, and they just happened to live with Ezra, or Ezra just happened to live with them for 10 years, and it didn't seem to have picked up any of their quirks or whatever. You'd think he'd be scurrying about a bit like a crab, wouldn't you, after 10 years? But no, he was just regular Ezra. But the actor that plays him, is it Amanda Svandia, I don't know how you pronounce it, seems a likeable fella. He's a charismatic chap. Right. But anyway, right. So off we go. Let's make sure we're going. Yes, we are. Right. So there's the Lucasfilm logo. You're working. Let's give it a minute. Let's give it a moment to catch up. Is it doing anything? Ah, there we go. Star Wars. Thank you. Right. We start off. We're on Coruscant. Here we are. Lovely, lovely Coruscant. Remember, this is the days of the New Republic. The Empire has gone, and General Syndulla is in trouble. She's in front of a Senate oversight committee headed by Mon Mothma and whoever these lot are. But this is Senator Zione. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. He's the father of the lead character in Star Wars Resistance. Remember that short-lived animated series? That wasn't too bad, to be honest. It wasn't garbage, but and it wasn't amazing, but it was there. It existed, and it was fine. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it. It didn't offend me. But anyway, so she's in trouble, but Mon Mothma's basically trying to stick up for a bit, and but Senator Zione or whatever. Is having none of it. He says there's no evidence or proof that this Imperial remnant was there on Cetos, even though you've people like Captain Taver here who saw the ring ship and saw it go off into hyperspace. But the Senator, doesn't want anything to do with it. There, he's talking about star maps, star whales, distant galaxies, all fairy tale stuff. There he is, Imperial remnant. Such a sensational term, but he gets his comeuppance in, about 30 years, doesn't he, when the First Order destroys Hosnian Prime, is that right? Because he's supposed to be on there, isn't he? I think. Anyway, now they do mention there the conflicts on Mandalore, and they mention Moff Gideon, so it takes place after Season 3 of The Mandalorian, because that was when Moff Gideon was, well, we presume he was defeated. It looked as though he got blown up or whatever, didn't it? But you never know, do you? So it takes place with. So we've got a definitive timeline. It's after season 3 of The Mandalorian, which we suspected it was, but now we know. And then she's saying, if Thrawn returns, there could be, a war coming. They want to bring the Empire back and all that. But he's having none of it. And there's good motion that General Syndulla will be court-martialed. And then we get some more key jangly, a guest. And they hear this voice, I do not need to show you identification. That voice that we hear. And here we see, come in. There he is. C-3PO's there, looking a little bit dull, to be honest. Didn't look as shiny as normal. Maybe it's just the lighting. I don't know. I don't know if it's Anthony Daniels in the suit. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's definitely his voice. But there, he's come to tell them that he hands over like a data thing. And I was expecting them to plug it in and a hologram of Leia Organa to appear. So this is Leia Solo, isn't she, by this time? And whatever. Maybe she's kept her name because she's a professional woman. But I was expecting that to come on. But no, they obviously couldn't afford that. Or they didn't have permission from the... saying that, though, she always said, didn't she, to Carrie Fisher, that they signed away the likeness rights to Lucasfilm. So maybe they could do, a CGI hologram of her. But no, they didn't bother. They just have C-3PO telling them that Senator Organa gave Hera clearance to go off to Cetos to investigate what were going on out there. So that resolves the matter. There we go. Senator Ziono backs down, and everything's lovely. So it's all the proceeding is adjourned. I was expecting to bang a gavel, but she didn't. But there's Genevieve, the lovely Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. I say it every time. I know I'm very taken with her. But anyway, so she says thank you to 3PO, and off he toddles. That's his key jangly bit for the episode. But she's saying, might I have a word? And she's going to say, I know that you didn't really get permission. I don't know what you're up to. But, you're skating on thin ice, to be honest. And then it begins, there we go, Dreams of Madness. I still don't know why it's called that. Because there's no dreams in it, and there's no people going mad in it. Not that I've noticed. Anyway, right, here we go. Another shot of the... they're taking the time getting there, aren't they? These Purgle. They're on the way to the other galaxy. Oh, excuse me. Remember, Ahsoka and... I can never remember his name. Huyang. I always get the vowels the wrong way around. Huyang. Professor Huyang, no less, are inside the big Purgle. And there you go, she's training his Ahsoka, the star of the show. Can't remember her bloody name. Ahsoka's training with a hologram of, there we go, a hologram of Anakin. But she looks really stiff. I don't know, maybe it's just me, I'm no expert on swordsmanship and training. I mean, I'm just a big fat old git. But she looks really stiff and awkward doing these moves. Look, I'll show you a bit, look. Doesn't look natural, it looks really, really awkward and, as though she's not very good at it. But anyway, so he's giving her instructions. Obviously it's a hologram. And apparently this is the last one he recorded. She says he recorded many of these little training programs or holograms, whatever, and this is the last one he recorded. But and she says he was a good master. And she goes, but she looked really stiff. I mean, she's not the best, is she? I mean, everybody likes Rosario Dawson. But, she's not great at the fighting, is she? But, she's easy on the eye. Right, Huyang comes in, and he says he suspects that they're getting close to where the end of their journey, because the Purgles seem to be slowing down. Oh, by the way, another jangly Easter egg there, just noticed. Training balls. Like we saw in A New Hope. Right, so they come out of hyperspace, and then it all kicks off. We hear these explosions outside, and something's going wrong. And it turns out they're in the middle of a minefield. As we see, they all drop out of hyperspace, and all explosions start happening. There we go. And no, it's not training balls that are getting them. Looks like it, doesn't it? But the mines look like motion sensor mines or something. I don't know, because they seem to lock onto something and move in on it and explode. A bit like what we saw in Galaxy Quest. Remember that scene in Galaxy Quest? But they were triangular shaped things, weren't they? These are round. And then you can see them going off into the distance. Obviously, the last episode, Thrawn ordered ordered Morgan Elsbeth to, destroy them with prejudice when they dropped out of hyperspace. So this was her plan: create a minefield. Luckily, they came out of hyperspace at just the right place where the minefield was. I mean, they could have come from any direction, really, couldn't they? I mean, well, I suppose they probably realised they'd probably be coming from the same direction that they came from, I suppose. But, that's not a given, is it, really? They could be slightly out. It's a big-ass sky, isn't it? But anyway, they did arrive at the minefield, that's by the by. So they're all getting blown up. I don't know if any died or what, I don't know. It doesn't show us. But Ahsoka leaves luckily the Purgle opens its mouth and lets them fly out. And then all the Purgles just bugger off into hyperspace then. They obviously didn't want to show us any getting killed or out like that. So they all just sod off into hyperspace. Well, there, Hu Yang says, at least the whales are providing some cover, but then they all bugger off, look. They all go into hyperspace. Don't know where they're going now. Are they going back? But they haven't turned round, have they? They haven't turned round heading back to the other galaxy. They're just heading somewhere else. But, don't know. Is that the last we'll see of the Purgles? Don't know. I'm presuming if they go back to the regular Star Wars galaxy, they'll be using this hyperspace ring, I presume, because there's no Purgles here now. Unless they get Ezra to call them, because he can call them or something, can't he? Anyway. So that just leaves Ahsoka in her... we'd learn it's a Jedi shuttle that she's in. Some people have said it's a Jedi fighter, but I thought, no, it's not, is it, obviously, because it's bigger, isn't it? It's a shuttle. But, and then we see that as they fly around, we see you can see the ring. You saw the ring ship, the hyperspace ring there in orbit. And it says we found the enemy, but then some fighters are coming, and I don't know why. As Morgan Elsbeth doesn't have like Imperial style ships. I don't know, because she spent basically a life building stuff for the Empire. But now she just seems to have these weird a shuttle that looks like it's from David Lynch's Dune, and these fighters look like, I don't know what they look like, to be honest. I didn't get a close look at them. Here they are, look. Don't really get a close look at them. Look like someone from Wing Commander or something. Anyway, so they're under attack, so they head down to the debris field, she calls it. Remember, this is the graveyard. This ring system around Peridia is the graveyard, and it's filled with bones of Purgles. The Purgle graveyard. So they're heading there. There's all the huge bones of the Purgles, some of them really, really big, crashing into each other. And it's obviously, it's supposed to be reminiscent of the asteroid field chase in Empire Strikes Back. And he even says, does Hu Yang, if we stay in here any longer, we'll get pulverised. I'm expecting her to go, pulverised? But, no. So they're heading in deeper to evade the fighters. I don't know why she isn't firing back. I mean, never mind. Meanwhile, back on the planet, here we see stuff going on, and there's is it Captain Enoch, played by Wes Chettam. Is it Chettam or Chatham? Chettam, I think. Who we know as Amos from The Expanse is in there, apparently. Not that you'd know. Not that it really matters. It could be anybody, couldn't it? Because his voice is distorted as well, so I don't know. He's reporting that they've headed into the rings. And so he says, call back the fighters. He's going to use the Dathomiri witches to locate them. There we go. There's only one starship, and then he tells us what it is. Come on, tell us. Come on, tell us what it is. Oh, never mind. Maybe it said earlier. Maybe it said earlier. Come on, tell us. There we go. A T6 class Jedi shuttle. There we go. That's all we're waiting for. A T6 class Jedi shuttle. That's what it is. Right, so he says withdraw the fighters, have them stand by, and then he's doing his strategy now. Is Thrawn in this? So he's saying that they've got to basically make her go in the direction that they want her to go, and then they'll always be one step ahead of her. So that's what his plan. Oh, there we go. They'll get pulverised if we stay out here much longer. Pulverised, but she doesn't say that. She just gives him a look. But then the land on one of the big ones. There's a big, big skeleton, the skeleton here, and the land on it. And obviously just waiting now. I think she powers everything down as well, just like in Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. Right. Meanwhile, on the planet, the naughty are moving out. They're in their little pods that they've got, which are hovering. So they're obviously a technologically advanced race because they've got hover pods. And Ezra's got his own. Yeah. Now she comes out to Sabine and they have a little back and forth. And she tells him that Hera, started training her. And Ezra says, well, fair enough, He knows that she did do some training before he left. And he's learning about what the other rebels are doing. There was Zeb's training recruits and Hera's commanding the fleet. Is that all that there was? Yeah, that was it. Because obviously Kanan's dead. And that's what it wanted. But, I was beginning to think we'd never find you. But, they find him in 5 minutes after setting off. But never mind. There you can see they've given him blue eyes. So he had blue eyes in the animated series. That obviously is he wearing contact lenses or they're being CG'd? I don't know. Whatever's the most expensive way of doing it, that'll be the one they've done because they don't know how to save money, do they? Except when they need a hologram of Leia. But there they're having a little chat, and then we see Balin and Shin Hati and the Nomads, who just look like Japanese. That's something from Onimusha Warlord or something like that. They arrive, doing their Tusken Raider voices, because they just go, they sound like Tusken Raider. They're standing on the bluff, looking down at the naughty moving away. Right, so he's gone to see these 3 Dathomiri witches, whatever they're called, Night Sisters. The lead one, played by Claudia Black of Stargate and Farscape fame. She's also in Pitch Black. I'm sure she's been in loads of other stuff. But I know her from Stargate mostly. She played Vala Maldoran in Stargate, SG-1. She ended up becoming, I think finally by the last season, she ended up becoming a regular character. But anyway. Right, so he wants them to find Ahsoka Tano, find out her position within the Purgil graveyard. So they get the balls out, and Huyang says he can't find Sabine on the planet because he thinks there's something disrupting his scanners. So she decides to use the Force. There you go. She calls out to Sabine, and Sabine hears her. She goes, "Oh, Ahsoka," but obviously. That's it, it's enough. It's enough for Ahsoka to get a fix on where she is. She doesn't actually talk to her. They don't have a conversation. But anyway, they find her as well. So he tells Enoch. Oh, by the way, it must be on the ring ship now. He's not on the Star Destroyer anymore. They're on the Star Destroyer. He's gone up to the hyperspace ring. He tells them to open fire on the location of Ahsoka in the ring, so that's what they do, presumably with their turbo lasers. But anyway, then she says she had a feeling, and there we go. Stuff starts exploding. They're under fire, so they've got to fly out. And there you go. He says Tano will pursue Sabine Wren, whom we have wisely sent far from here. Not that far, about an hour away, if that. But anyway. a few minutes away. It can't be that far, because he sends out a couple of gunships to assist what he calls the mercenaries, which are Balin, Skoll and Shin Hati, and they take no time at all to get there, so he's not far away. Anyway, so back with the naughty, moving across the surface of the planet. Then he goes, "Hey, steady, steady," brings him to a halt. And there we go. We see the people on the hill watching them, and he tells Shin Hati to go down and destroy Ezra and Sabine and all that with the nomads, but he's not going. So he says, "My path lies in another direction." And it reminds her that I forgot what he says to her. He basically says to her, don't get too over keen. Basically, because that lies on that lies the path to defeat. If you get angry or whatever, I don't know what he says. Oh, there we go. One parting lesson. Here we go. Come on, speak, man. There's too many gaps. Right, impatience. That's what I'm trying to think of. Impatience for victory will guarantee defeat. That's what he tells her. And I don't know if she's impatient or not, but anyway. So off they go to intercept the naughty. Right, so he knocks back on again, telling them that they found Ezra Bridger. Obviously, the centre signal did Balin and all them. So they're going to send out some squads in gunships. I think this might be the first time in live action, at least, that we've seen Imperial gunships. Like we used to see in Clone Wars and all that. We saw the clone troopers in their gunships and all that. This is Imperial ones. But anyway, so these storms, night troopers they call them. I don't know why they call them that. We'll get to that in a minute. People have been saying that these are called night troopers because they're undead, brought back to life by night sister magic, but that doesn't seem to be the case, unless I'm missing something. Anyway, they set off. Right, so they're under attack, so she's shooting with blasters, they're firing catapults with stones in, and there you go, she's saying, because Ezra tells her that they're peaceful. He says, fine, you didn't mention defenceless. So anyway, so they're taking out some of these nomads. There must be more than there appears to be, because there didn't seem to be that many, did there? But they kill a few by various means, either shooting them or knocking them off or crushing them between two of these pods, whatever they are. And Ezra tells them to form a circle, so they come to a stop and they form a circle, and they're like all close up, and they're like little cockpits that they've got all close up, so they're basically impregnable, I suppose. So he tells them all to get inside, and he'll handle that. Meanwhile, Ahsoka's on her way. And Huyang says there's no place to land. So she says, well, we don't have to land, just got to time it right. So she's going to fly over. They're going to fly over, and she's going to jump out, basically. Right, so they're going to be under attack now, and he tells them to stay inside. Obviously, he's got Sabine's Howler there. I bet she gives it a name. But they're getting ready to fight. Shin Hati's leading the nomads. But anyway, there you go. She jumps out, does Ahsoka, and she's going to fight Balin Skoll again. There you go. He says, I didn't expect to see you again, because I thought she were dead, obviously. And I'm surprised to say, she didn't say, I thought you were dead. I'm surprised she didn't say I was, but she doesn't. But she's back as Ahsoka the White. So they're going to fight again. There we go. In good Star Wars style, they're cutting between different, battles. So, she tries to give Ezra his lightsaber back, and says he doesn't need it. So she's going to carry on using it. Don't know why he doesn't need it. I mean, he doesn't need it, but it's obviously just to show that he's passing on his legacy to Sabine. I suspect Ezra Bridger's going to die next week in the final episode. I think he will, because he's passed on his lightsaber to Sabine. And he's going to die. That's what I think. among the naughty with whom he's lived for 10 years. Excuse me. But anyway, so it all kicks off. There we go. The Force is my ally. Somebody didn't say I am with the Force and the Force is... I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me, or whatever they used to say in Rogue One, but he doesn't say that. Right, so battle commences. Here we go. And he's taking them out, you know, with no weapons. She's shooting, and they seem to keep shooting her in her head. I don't think we'll see it, but she ends up fighting Shin Hati. There we go with her lightsaber, and they kill all the nomads. See if we can see when she gets shot in the head. I'm sure she gets shot in the head. Let's look back again. Are we seeing Ahsoka and Baylan fighting? She still looks awkward. It's not fast, is it? It's not like we've seen in the prequel trilogy. Right, here we go. I'm sure she gets shot in the head. In a minute. You ready? You ready? Hope they get a copyright strike for this. There you go. Uses the Force there. Come on, let's see her getting shot in the head. Oh, he gets his hair cut with a lightsaber. Probably missed it. Probably gone too far. I'm sure we saw Sabine get shot in the head and it just like bounced off. Might be in this bit. Let's have a look. Here I go. She gets clonked on the head, but I'm sure we see her get shot. Gets hit again. Maybe I imagined it. But she does get hit on the back of the head, and she just brushes it off. They're still at it. Fighting away. Come on, show us it. I probably didn't. It probably didn't happen then. So they're still going, aren't they? Anyway, whatever. Yeah, anyway, whatever. She does get hit on the head. She's got a Beskar head, a skull. Yes, he uses the lightsaber on him. He dies. Look, I presume he's dead, even though he's been run through. But she did slash him as well. He's holding back with the Force. You notice her lightsaber's going a little bit Kylo Ren-ish there, isn't it? But anyway, they defeat her. And there's a stalemate going on between Baylan and Ahsoka. And the ship comes round and it like drops down some covered in fire, like missiles or something it fires. And there we go. And it all lands around them, all blows up around them. When the smoke clears, Ahsoka's riding away on Baylan Skoll's howler. So it looks a bit fed up. Does more staring at the horizon in his charismatic way. But anyway, so the Imperial gunship arrives with its cool, you know, like TIE fighter style thingamabobs. Solar panels, whatever the hell they are. But they're landed, they all pile out. So they get surrounded now by stormtroopers. And so there's going to be more fighting going on. Maybe this is where she gets shot in the head, I don't know. But or maybe there we go. Ahsoka arrives in the nick of time. And there we go. They all start fighting. And oh, there we go. People were saying there were the night troopers brought back to life by Night Sister magic. Like is it Merrick? Marek, I don't know bloody what it's called. In the Inquisitor type chap. We saw him get slashed by Ahsoka and he all went psh, green smoke came out of him. I expected like that to happen with these. But it doesn't. We see this fella here, look. He just gets shot and that's it. It just drops down to the ground. There's no green smoke or anything. So other zombie stormtroopers, I don't know. Anyway. Here we go. Like we learn now that the cargo is almost complete. There we go. People are saying these are more dead bodies that they're going to resurrect. Going to be like Hard Home, innit, in Game of Thrones. The Night Sister's going to raise up the army of the dead. But they're almost ready to go. And they get ordered to pull back. They've got to return to the ship. So they say move out. But not one of them that I noticed had any green smoke coming out of them when they were killed. We see a few bodies lying about. But she runs away, does Shin Hattie, and they live to fight another day. As I said, it's quite boring, to be honest. That nothing really, even though there's all these skirmishes happen, nobody gets killed apart from, a few red shirts, and that's it. Nothing of import happens apart from the reunited, but big deal. The ship comes in. Ezra tells them that tells the Noti that these are friends. Now, is he going to go off with them? I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to leave the Noti. But he does say he's going back home. But it doesn't say he's going back home to another galaxy, because that's the end of the episode. Look, he says, "I'm going home," but I think he thinks he's home now. I don't think he's going back with them. He's given her the lightsaber. He's passed it on to her. I think he's going to go with them to try and stop Thrawn. But I don't think he's going to go back. He'll not go back to the other galaxy. I don't think. That's not what I think. But that's the end of the episode. They've got to get to Thrawn's ship now and stop it before it heads out. It's nearly finished loading its cargo of whatever. And that's it. Then they've got off we go. Let's just check at the end there. Make sure there isn't a end credit scene. I don't think there is. No, there ain't. Right. Okay. Just thought I'd check. Anyway, but despite the action scenes, the fighting, it dull as dishwater again, and nothing of import seemed to happen. It's just filler, it seems. All this episode, this season, they could have made it into a 2-hour film, and it'd have been fine. But they're stretching it out as best they can. But anyway, and none of these, where they're gone. The stormtroopers gone. There's just the nomads left of the disintegrated. But like I said, they're reunited. So why don't they just? They know where they are. Why doesn't he just say to the ring ship that's in orbit or from his Star Destroyer, just fire on them, just destroy the entire area? Scorched earth, the whole bit. But no. And Thrawn said, they'll either be stranded on this planet here in another galaxy, or they'll be killed. Either way, it doesn't matter to him. But why not just make sure, just blast the entire area, nuke the site from orbit, so to speak. But they don't. So there we go. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I suspect Baylan Skoll's going to have a change of heart, and she's going to kill Baylan Skoll, and probably cut off her Padawan braid. Or it could be the other way around. I don't know. What's happening with these two, with Baylan Skoll and Shin Hattie? It could go one of two ways. He'll turn good, and she'll kill her master, like a good Sith. I know they're not Sith, but she probably thinks she's going to be one. Or Sith-ish. Or he'll stay bad and want to complete what he sees as his destiny, to start like a new Force user empire or whatever. And she'll turn good and she'll kill him. Still kill him, But either way, he's going to get killed probably. If he doesn't, they're going to have a problem with season 2, aren't they? To be honest. But anyway. But yeah, that's that. So, like I said, we've one episode to go. Are they going to get back to the regular Star Wars galaxy? Dunno. Are they going to stay here? Dunno. Where have the Purgles gone? Dunno. And all that. Don't know. Don't know what's going to happen. Why has Sabine got a Beskar skull? Because she seems impervious to knocks to the head. I'm sure that the one part where you see her I'm sure they're like a flash and you see as though she got shot in the head. I'm sure that happened. I bet she's a robot. But anyway. And the night troopers, none of the green smoke didn't come out of them, so I don't think they are actually raised from the dead. by Night Sister Magic zombies. I don't know. Or maybe they are. Maybe it's just a different way they've done it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to give this one, same as last week, a 6 out of 10. It's like, average. It's average, even though, it looks nice. People say they still don't like the volume, 'cause it's obviously filmed on the volume, innit? Stagecraft, whatever the hell they call it. But I don't mind it, to be honest. I think you do get a good sense of atmosphere of where it is. It's all to do with the lighting and all that, innit? You can. It works for me, so I don't know why people moan about it, but it works for me for the most part, anyway. So 6 out of 10. Not the best episode. Next week's episode is the last one. I don't know what it's called. No, it's not telling us. But next week's is directed by Rick Famuyiwa. You'd have thought Dave Filoni had directed the final episode, wouldn't you? Directed the first one, but no. Doesn't say what it's called, so I don't know. So we'll leave it there. As I said, 6 out of 10. Quite boring, a bit dull, despite the action. But whatever. Whatever, it didn't blow me socks off. Which is what Star Wars is supposed to do, isn't it, essentially? And again, David Tennant, great as Hu Yang. What's his face? Ray Stevenson didn't impress this episode. Usually, he commands the screen, doesn't he? But he didn't really on this episode, not for me anyway. Thrawn were a bit more Thrawn-like, but anyway, and it'd be nice if we'd have seen Leia. We saw 3PO, jangle, shiny, but it'd be nice to see Leia. But even then, I'd have been saying jangle, shiny, if we saw her. That's all it is. It's fan service, isn't it? Which is fine. But anyway, right, we'll leave it there. I've waffled on. We'll leave it there. So. Thanks for watching, wherever you are. Till next time, I'll see thee.